All right, my Tahoe 200 DNF experience. Ended up going just a total of 65 miles before I DNF'd, um, but we'll kind of get around to that. I'll just share my experience from beginning to end. Left a day late, and headed out, and fell asleep on the way. On the first day, fell asleep because I was just trying to practice putting myself to sleep. So I fell asleep the first day just on the way down there. Woke up feeling like really bad. I had a headache, stomach ache, had to go to the bathroom, very tired, like really drugged down, and kind of I guess segueing to something else is I was able to put myself to sleep, which I was practicing. That happened in an interesting way. If you practice lucid dreaming, you may notice things like this, but my eyes were open and I just started relaxing and began hallucinating before I even fell asleep. I began dreaming, or before I closed my eyes. So I began dreaming before I even closed my eyes. It was kind of like started like seeing bees flying around, and just was like, okay, time to go to sleep. And I closed my eyes, and this is the first time something like this has ever happened that I can remember. I closed my eyes, and imagine if you had like little lights, like that dimness that comes when you close your eyes, and all the bees turned into like almost like fireflies, and they kind of buzzed off and disappeared into the darkness, and then I was like dreaming. So wake up feeling bad, headache, grogginess, upset stomach. Make it to the first camp place. Eat some ginger. Ginger was helpful like the whole time. Every time I had any sort of stomach issue from beginning to end, it was helpful. And just a little chip or two at a time would have pretty great effects on my stomach, even during the drive. So get to where we're at. Feeling a little better, like I've taken some Advil, the headache has gone away, I've eaten some ginger, the stomach has calmed down, and pitch tent, eat, go to sleep, wake up, feeling okay, feel a lot better, thinking like might have gotten over this a little bit, and then like off to the bathroom, not feeling so good, losing water, but like I'm not dizzy or groggy or anything like that, just upset stomach. More ginger, head out, eventually end up in Tahoe just in time for check-in to be over. It's like 5 minutes late. Go to camp out up above headquarters, and stomach's still kind of upset. It's not terrible, but it's like, not great either. So go to sleep, wake up, race day, feeling good. Even like went to the bathroom before the race, and just before the race when all the runners are crowded there, like moving around. You're in the restroom, they're here, they're there. But it wasn't like a bad thing using the restroom at that time. Head out for the run. Meet up with a friend of mine that I've met through this, Bulldog Legs. You probably find him on Instagram. Ricardo. He's a pretty cool guy. We talk about running together. So get to Stephen Jones. We do leave Stephen Jones together. But I left Stephen Jones and I get to a restroom and I'm like, I really have to go to the bathroom again. So I go in there. I take a little time. Like, honestly, he's a great guy for even waiting just that little bit, because there's like a little bit of time I was in there. I come out, we start going together, and my stomach starts acting up, and I have to run back to the restroom and use the restroom. But even after that, like, I start making, like, I use the restroom, I start making a good clip. I don't exactly remember how it all went, but felt very comfortable. I was wearing like a desert robe, and that kept me with like long underwear underneath, and that kept and long injinjis, so like injinjis that came up to my actual knee, like larger than my size. So I had them to where I could pull them up to my knee and then kind of fold them down, and then long underwear over that, and then my robe, and that kept me pretty cool during the day. That felt really good. Breeze blowing up underneath helped quite a bit, so I wasn't like overheating or anything like that, though it didn't get too hot out there, in my opinion. I never felt uncomfortable from the heat. And the robe was pretty cool. Like, it has pockets on the sides, and I hadn't thought of it before the race, but I could fit like my snacks and my headlamps in my pockets. And also, putting my hands in my pockets and like feeling those things like in my hands, like just touching them, you know, like if I was to hold them, grabbing them, that might burn a lot of energy, but just like kind of having touching them in there, like made me feel really good, gave me confidence, you know, like snacks are here, light is here. It's pretty cool. It felt really good, man, and my I was just moving along. Then I got to what was it? Barker Pass, second aid station, and tried to eat there, and it wasn't so much that my stomach was too upset to eat. I don't know. I decided that, so like there's this thing, like if you eat right before you go to bed, your stomach or your body spends energy like trying to process that food. So I decided that I was going to wait till after I slept to eat. And it was fine. I wasn't terribly hungry anyway. During the elevation, getting there though, like I did get some elevation sickness. I did start feeling kind of pukey. Just a couple chips of ginger, and it like fixed it. Didn't necessarily give me an appetite back, but I think in the end it did help me keep my appetite. Because when I did DNF there at what was it, Tunnel Creek, they gave me like a breakfast burrito type thing, bacon, egg, cheese, and I was just chomping on that thing. The guy was kind of surprised he seemed surprised at how well I was eating. I didn't DNF from any stomach issues or anything like that. Nighttime was very comfortable. Like I put my my alpaca hair poncho over the top, and it was very warm, stayed very warm. I also had like a windbreaker underneath, like a really thin jacket underneath. With that alpaca, again, like if I had my hood on over me, like I overheated, so even when it got very cold and began to snow a little bit, took my hood off, and it, like that coldness on my head kind of balanced out all that heat. Tried gloves for a little while, but my hands were overheating. Like my hands were sweating from having gloves on. So I took those off, and those fit again. The pockets on the side of that robe are like, they're useful. So took the gloves off, and I put my hands in my pocket, and it was like perfect. Perfect temperature. My hands stopped sweating. I did have to change my gait a little bit in my the way I was swinging my shoulders, but if I stayed relaxed, it gave me like this kind of like playful, confident walk or stride, you know. And I would talked about this a little bit already, but I'd reference Conor McGregor, the way he would, you know, get his arms really swinging, and people would talk about how that's like a confidence thing. I believe that's true. I experienced it was like natural, like swinging my arms like that kind of naturally like made me feel good. It was weird, but it wasn't as exaggerated. It was kind of like a toned down version of that, but I could feel it. What else? My all weather Vivo barefoots. those they felt very nice the whole time. Foot sensitivity is a thing, so like you do feel a lot of things, but you know your feet get stronger, and it was bearable. My feet did swell up a little bit after the race, but I just put my feet up on the trip home. I had my feet up. My legs, it was hard to walk like the first day and the second day even, but like I don't know, it was like the more I walked, the more I sat down, the harder it was to like get up and walk. But if I got up and walked, it got easier and easier. And it wasn't pain. It wasn't in a lot of pain. It was just my legs were stiff, maybe tired. But I'm at home. Like I've gone on a couple hikes or walks now already since being home. I've been working out in the yard. You know, our yard is not easy to work in, so I feel good about that. So Brockway to Tunnel Creek, I started like, so I woke up and like lots of people were complaining about how they felt there, and you know, when I say complaining, like their legs hurt, they were finding it hard to breathe, they were nauseous, they didn't sleep well. Oh yeah, so sleeping. So when I got to Brockway, again I put myself to sleep. It took a lot longer, but it's such a fun thing. What do they call it? Lucid dreaming. Because I was in there laying down and like just trying to relax, and then again you start slipping in, and it's like you just give a little giggle, you know, like yes, it worked, like it's working, even though it took longer than expected. But it was nice and relaxed. I just stayed relaxed, and I didn't freak out about not being able to go to sleep. And it even accepted that I might not be able to. Like it did take a while, and I was like, man, I might not fall asleep, but I did. So wake up in the morning, people are having a hard time, and I'm like geeked. I'm like pretty excited. And I go to leave, and immediately I'm like wheezing, you know. So you get up, and there's, you know, you go to the right. Immediately I'm wheezing, and having to like really, I'm really gasping for breath. So I'm like, oh, then I start hacking up little green globules, or you know, like loogies basically. And so I'm hacking up these loogies, I'm wheezing, and I'm like, oh, I think this is high altitude pulmonary edema, which I had heard about. At first time I heard about it was just people talking about things they had gone through in previous races. So I was like, okay, and then I, you know, studied up on it. And it can be dangerous, and it can have long-term effects if you push it. And so I decided that I would just make it to the next cutoff. And I knew I'd be close. At first, I was going good, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be able to take a nap when I get there, and it's gonna be, you know, like I said, I was feeling really good, feeling confident. But then, as I'm up there and wheezing and having to stop every little while, like, okay, I'm gonna make it just before cutoff. And I did make it like 3 minutes before cutoff. So yeah, it was short-lived. It was very fun. Everybody's great. I didn't get much high altitude training before. Like I got in a lot of miles and a lot of hard miles, but just not up high. So I'm gonna try again and get up high this time, like once a week. What else? I don't know. I guess if you have any questions, you can ask, and you know, if I can lend anything of value and give advice too, that would be great. Oh, my butt was chapped before I began the race because of all the stomach issues, so that became a thing that I had to deal with too. And squirrel nut butter, but it was not applied liberally because it was kind of frozen by the time I got to it. Anyway, this is Coach Brian at Northwest Elite Spirit. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, and please do comment. Thank you.